Yes, I am, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of Techbiz, which discusses a program set up and designed to discuss the business of technology in this ecosystem, and is brought to you from the stables of Eco Innovation Center, which is an innovation center that helps to incubate startups while also providing accelerator services. To same, we have a mandate to support the scale up of startups in the ecosystem, and to this end, we've defined a number of programs, including this Techbiz, to be able to help provide that support, that hand-holding, that mentorship that startups need to be able to, a large extent, be able to survive and scale, commercialize their ventures, and be able to weather the storm in this very uncertain terrain that they find themselves. And it's a pleasure to be bringing this edition again to you. This happens to be the 103rd edition of Techbiz, and it's a pleasure bringing this to you. In the last 2 to 3 years thereabout, we've had the opportunity of having subject matter experts on the platform from different parts of the world and from different areas of expertise. We've dealt into topics like business model canvas, how to scale up your business. We've talked about building solutions, not apps. We've talked about how to manage team dynamics. We've talked about how to protect intellectual property and quite a lot, investment readiness. And we've had different subject matter experts create this platform to be able to provide to a large extent for us this information that of course, basically to help equip and support the startups. And that's what we're again doing today, in which again we have another expert from his subject matter coming to grace this platform and to be able to share with participants in the ecosystem. My name remains Victor Bengafolabi, the founder of Eco Innovation Center, which is located in 50 Awolowo Road. However, we offer services across not only Nigerian landscape, but across the African landscape to startups. Techbiz happens every last Thursday of every month for just 1 hour, 5 to 6. And the essence, again, like I said, is to be able to provide that support. And this evening, we're discussing a topic that I find quite interesting for a time like this. I was doing a write-up talking about necessity entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who scale up. And again, when we look at what the experience is for startups dealing with OPEX, dealing with all the uncertainties around the operational cost, around the very challenging terrain and landscape they find themselves, around the uncertainty around how to run business from regulations and all that around this place, you cannot but agree that running a business of technology in a time like this is fraught with a lot of challenges and a lot of uncertainties. And so this evening, as we discuss the topic of navigating economic uncertainty in the tech landscape, we will be discussing to a large extent what are the strategies, what are the tactics, what are the tricks in the playbook that we can use to navigate a time like this, to be able to weather the storm, to be able to come out at the other side, having grown our business, having scaled, having kept your clients, to continue to provide top-notch services to customers and our clients, and above all else, to continue to ensure that our innovation continue to perform at the rate and at the level in which we want that to happen. Because with the changing landscape, very dynamic, very fluid environment, we need these strategies, we need these ideas, we need these tactics to be able to stay on board. And I do have a prolific professional in the house today who is much more than a subject matter expert. And what excites me about him and his pedigree is the fact that I'm fascinated by people who not only provide advisory and consulting services, but also wear the cap to actually roll up their sleeves and build ventures. So I think the best set of people that should be in advisory are people that also are building ventures, because when you understand how the shoe pinches and you can simulate and you can put yourself in the day of the life of an average entrepreneur, then you are well suited to be able to advise, so to say, as the case may be. And that's what this conversation is about today. And that's who he is. So he is the co-founder and executive director at a firm called Global Croft Limited. It's a prominent management consultancy company based in Lagos, Nigeria. And what they have done and establishing themselves is, to a large extent, provide consulting in the realm of organizational management, and to a large extent, helping companies, advising companies about sustainable growth and how to preserve their businesses. Besides that, the person we have in-house today also holds the position as a co-founder and the executive director of Ruby Energy Solutions, where he oversees a renewable energy business and also oversees an agro-allied business. So like I said, the exciting thing is not just in advisory, he's actually in the trenches building ventures and also offers management advisory services. He's a visionary leader and has developed himself as a professional that's helped to transform quite a number of technology business and traditional legacy businesses, empowering them with change, creating value, helping them maximize growth, and to a large extent, helping them to elevate their business performance. And in a time like this, where we take scale up or we take business growth as just about the amount of funds that startups have been able to attract, I think the conversation is changing to people begin to understand what are the other matrices to manage, to measure the scale up of a startup. And here we're talking about what are their business performances, what are their innovation performances, and how are they tracking beyond attracting funds. That's what he's able to do. Beyond his ability to grow and get this business scaled, he also is a part of several institutions where they offer mentorship, such as the Mentors Guild of Tony Lumelu Foundation. He's a part of quite a number of, he's a juror in many of the community and business events, such as the Community of Africa's and Business Heroes, which is led by the Jack Ma Foundation. He's an associate member of the marketing of Nigerian School of Marketing. He's an associate member of the Nigerian FinTech Association. And like I said, he's a mentor on many foundations and institutes. And of course, also a global business mentor for Techstars, which is based in Toronto, Canada. To a large extent, I think as a transformative leader, he will bring us to perspective, not only as a consultant, but somebody who also wears the shoes himself and who rolls up his sleeves to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, again, very proud, very excited to bring to us a subject matter expert to the platform today. Help welcome Jonathan Okonlawo, as he takes us through the strategies and the tactics we need to navigate a time such as this. Very interesting time across all fronts, from political to, I was discussing with a few tech colleagues earlier today about what OPEX is doing to businesses, especially technology businesses, because many of the infrastructures we use, many of the materials, the input, people think, oh, it's only manufacturing firms. And I said, no, you'll be shocked that technology firms, 40 to 50% of their OPEX is actually denominated in FX. And therefore, this affects quite a number of things. So these are very uncertain times. These are in terms of economic realities. And I think Jonathan will be doing, to a large extent, justice to this topic, as in the next 30-35 minutes, he will take us through this conversation, run us through his slides, share strategies with us, share insights with us, talk to us from his world of experience. And then I will be back at 1:45 when we will be taking your questions. So feel free to drop your questions, drop chats, drop any comment you have across all the platforms, drop in the chat room. We'll aggregate that and we'll discuss that in the last bit of the hour. However, before I go, in case you are not part of the community, all these recordings you will find on our platform. My colleagues are dropping the link, including this one, the 103rd. It's found at www.ecoicenter.com/webinar. You will find all the 102nd plus this 103rd episodes of Techbiz on there, and then you can listen to them, play them at your spare time, and share your comments, clarification, questions with any of us in the Techbiz Nation, which is our forum for the community, where we continue to provide support service on the go, much more than what we can do once in a month by the Techbiz. And that's, again, you'll find in the Tech Nation, with my colleagues who drop the Techbiz Nation, they will drop the link, and then you can join in there. And you also can drop your questions in that forum while this is ongoing. We'll aggregate that, and at the last bit of the hour, I will come back with Jonathan to run a Q&A session, and then we can take it up from there. Thank you very much for being a part of this, and Jonathan, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Just want to be sure if everybody can hear me. Just say a thumbs up.
Yes, we do. I think we do across all platforms.
Great. So it's a pleasure to be here. And Mr. Victor, thank you so much. Mr. Victor Gbenga Folabi, thank you for the very insightful introduction. Thank you also for the very kind words. When you were speaking, I was asking myself, am I the one they are talking about? But well, we find ourselves here today, and of course, I just want to set my timer so I know that working with time. So, but it's a pleasure to be with each and every one of you today, and it's going to be a very, very insightful session. Let me just try and share my screen, if possible. I had my screen shared, but I don't know why it's not sharing again. If Blessing, maybe you can share the slides for me. I've tried to share. My name is Jonathan Okonlawon, and of course, I'm a proud Nigerian, and these are very interesting times, though we all know these are also very, very challenging times. Of course, we will not shy away from the challenges, but also these are also very, very interesting times. And these are times that I was telling someone one time, I said, these challenging times are actually opportunities in disguise. And we have moved into a discontinuous, disruptive, and digital world underpinned by rapid shifts in every facet of society. Of course, in this period, we will need foresight, you will need insight, and you will need action. So if Blessing can share my slide. I'm trying to share it. I don't know. I had it open here, but I don't know.
Bola Tito Blessing, can you help us share the slide from your end? I think the technical team will do that now.
Okay, I'm trying to do it on my side. So, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I got it. I got it now. Okay. I guess you can see my slide, right?
Yes, this is clear now.
Okay, great. All right. So let's move on. We are talking about navigating economic uncertainties in the tech landscape. Navigating economic uncertainties in the tech landscape. And of course, I'm not going to be too long with you. Of course, Mr. Victor Gbenga Folabi has talked about my profile, so I don't need to go over it. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to see economic uncertainties. We're going to look at the tech landscape. We're going to see the impact of economic uncertainties. We're going to see strategies for navigating uncertainties. We'll look at maybe one or two case studies if we have the time. And then we are going to see innovation and adaptation, talent and workforce, global considerations. Well, I pray I'm able to go through all the slides. I will try and see how I could go through the slides. Of course, I won't rush it, but I'll try so that we can all get a sense of it. But here we go. On your marks, get set, ready, go. All right. What are economic uncertainties? If you are a Nigerian, just like I am, of course, I'm a Nigerian, of course, you live in this world, you know that the world that we live in today is full of economic uncertainties. And that cuts across, is not just limited to Nigeria, cuts across every country in the world. And economic uncertainties refer to unpredictable and volatile conditions in the financial and economic landscape. Economic uncertainties refer to unpredictable and volatile conditions in the financial and economic landscape. And we can see in the tech industry, because we are drilling down to talking about the tech industry, how do those economic uncertainties manifest? They manifest as abrupt shifts in market demand. So you are going to see a shift in market demand. You're going to see changes in consumer behavior, and also you can also see global economic crisis. So economic uncertainties are bound to happen, especially in the tech industry. We are already seeing those economic uncertainties have been playing out for some time. Now, what do we say about the tech landscape? Let me just spend about 30 seconds to a minute on this slide. The tech landscape right now is very promising. I can tell you that it's a very good time to be a Nigerian. It's an awesome time to be an African, because the eyes of the world are on Africa. And if you look at Nigeria, 60% of Nigeria is a country of over 220 million people. 60% of our population is under the age of 25. So that means Nigeria has a young and vibrant population. Now, that young and vibrant population, that is a lot of opportunities for the tech landscape. And I love the trajectory which the current is Honorable Minister of Digital Economy is going, wanting to empower 3 million tech talents in 3 years. That is walking the talk. And I can see that there's a lot of opportunities. In Nigeria right now, we have over 6,000 tech startups and growing. And we could see that the opportunities are there, in spite of the great challenges that we face, but the opportunities are there. Now, every opportunity that comes disguised as challenges. So, of course, we'll not shy away from the fact that there are a lot of opportunities, challenges in the tech landscape, but that just shows that there are also a lot of opportunities. So talk about the tech landscape. Now, we are looking at the tech landscape that it is an innovative, I just put sometimes disruptive, but it's disruptive. And like I said in the beginning, I said we have moved into a discontinuous, disruptive, and digital world underpinned by rapid shifts in every facet of society. So the tech industry is marked by rapid innovation, including artificial intelligence. Everybody now is talking about artificial intelligence. Of course, the ones which you all know, ChatGPT. Of course, there are so many other things that are coming to the market now and are causing a great disruption in the market. We're talking about IoT, Internet of Things. We're talking about cloud computing. We're talking about blockchain technologies. These innovations, they drive growth, but also they could also introduce uncertainties as they disrupt existing markets. And we can see that the rise of digital has introduced new possibilities to reinvent the traditional offerings using much more intelligent workflows and automation. So, and we are living in awesome time. We're living in an innovative time, but it's also disruptive. Also, so what is the impact of economic uncertainties? Fine, in Nigeria, we are facing a foreign exchange crisis. Of course, it's not impossible it can be solved, but those are part of the economic uncertainties that we face, and what economic uncertainties can lead to: funding challenges, It can lead to reduced customer spending. It can also lead to market volatility. And you can see in Nigeria that with the current challenge we are having in the FX market, that is also affecting the price of fuel, which also has a domino effect on so many other things in Nigeria. Of course, we can all relate with what I'm trying to say. And as founders or whatever you are, career professionals, whatever field of endeavor, you need to be prepared for these scenarios because they have a direct or indirect impact to your business. So let's see some of the strategies for navigating uncertainties. We have strategies whereby, of course, this is not all the strategies, but these are time-tested strategies. Of course, there are much more than this, but I just wanted to highlight 4. First of all, we'll look at diversification. It's a time that it calls for business people, careers, founders, co-founders to start thinking of diversification. They should not, it's a time whereby you have to be lean and agile. Also goes to the second one, agile development. Of course, don't be bureaucratic. You know something is not working, try to change it. I tell people that continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Simply put, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Don't get into analysis paralysis. This time calls for diversification, agile development, effective risk management. Before you go into any business, make sure, do your due diligence to make sure that you have dotted the I's and crossed the T's. Of course, that doesn't mean that you not make mistakes, but let those mistakes be calculated. Don't take unnecessary risk. Also, this is something I'm big on, and I tell people, this is the time. No man is an island. This is the time for collaboration. Collaboration is the new innovation. I am big on collaboration. I collaborate across board, collaborate with my partners, I collaborate with stakeholders. It is very important. If you want to navigate the uncertain waters in this period, please and please, you have to focus on collaboration as well as the other things which I've mentioned. Let's look at some case studies. Of course, we're on Zoom, so let's talk about Zoom. I don't have time to talk about the other, Salesforce and Slack. So we all came to the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, it's not strange to us. The COVID-19 pandemic brought forth a sudden and a profound shift in the way people work, learn, and communicate. And we could see that in the COVID-19 pandemic, Zoom emerged. Of course, you see, we're on the platform, we are using Zoom for this meeting. Zoom emerged in 2020 as a star performer. Now, I need to remember, Zoom has been in existence before 2020. Zoom was a company that was founded in 2011. And of course, they were primarily known for their video conferencing platform. But however, it was during the pandemic. If you notice, I'm stressing it, during the pandemic, during a time of uncertainty, that Zoom achieved an unprecedented surge in popularity. Of course, we all know that at that period, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of businesses were scrambling to adopt to remote work. Everybody was talking, oh, remote work, remote this. And of course, Zoom became the go-to platform for virtual meetings, webinars, and online collaborations. And one of the reasons for Zoom's success, let me just highlight some of the reasons, was one, its user-friendly interface, its accessibility. And Zoom made it easy for anyone, regardless of their technical expertise, to join virtual meetings from a wide range of devices. Of course, Zoom also provided a very seamless experience. Let's look at some of the factors that contributed to Zoom's success. We had timely product offering. Zoom was well positioned with a product tailored to meet the urgent demands of remote work and distant learning. So we're still on Zoom. Two things that contributed to the success of Zoom. Two was scalability and performance. Zoom demonstrated exceptional scalability, ensuring that it could accommodate a massive inflow of users. Three, Zoom, of course, they went through free and freemium models. If you remember when Zoom started, they had the free version, then later on, they now moved into the paid version. Of course, we all know that Zoom now went to partnerships and integrations, and Zoom you could now integrate Zoom with third-party applications and formed partnerships. So the use of Zoom has offered several business lessons for a lot of things. What are the lessons we can learn from Zoom? Adaptability is key. Two, have a user-centric approach. Three, innovation and continuous improvement. Four, accessibility and inclusivity. And five, building trust. So just to round up on Zoom, Zoom's unprecedented surge during the COVID-19 pandemic exemplifies how a tech company can respond to unexpected challenges and achieve remarkable success by focusing on what? Adaptability, innovation, and building trust. So that's just something to show you on Zoom. So let's move on. My time is running. So of course, things that can help you also to navigate this uncertain period, utilize data. Data is the new oil. I tell people data is very important. Data would help you. Data and analytics would help, especially tech companies, and forecast trends. It will help them to identify potential issues and also make informed decisions in real time. So remember, you need to also, during this uncertain period, focus on utilizing data and analytics, which will help you to forecast trends, identify issues, and make informed decisions in real time. It is very important that you do that. All right, so innovation and adaptation. For you to be a successful tech company, you need to continuously innovate. You need to adapt to economic uncertainties by developing new products. Hear my words, new products. Very, 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 very important that you do that. And I will say that before you can see the opportunities, you need to see the possibilities. It's very important. What do you see in this uncertain period? Do you see the opportunity? Do you see the possibilities? When you see the possibilities, then you can see the opportunities. And then you continuously innovate. And what is innovate? Continuously improving, adapting to economic uncertainties. You need to, for you to go through this period, you need to, there's a phrase I tell people when I talk to them, I said, you need to have adaptive resilience. Very, very important. That's one of a very good strategy you can use in these times. Adapting to economic uncertainties by developing new products, new services, or business models. Also, another thing you can also do is focus on your talent. I mean, your talent and your workforce. It's very important that you build a skilled and adaptable workforce. If you are not a solopreneur, if you have staff with you, whether 3 or 4, is very important, or even 10 or 20 or 30, depending on no matter how big your workforce is, you need to focus on skill acquisition. Very important. We live in a skill-based world. Very, very important. And there may be need for them to be focusing on skill acquisition. Some of them may need to be reskilled. Some of them may need to be upskilling that will be carried out on those who are ready. So there's always the thing of business process improvement. That means as an owner, or even if you are a solopreneur, please invest in your training. Invest in your training is very, very important. Look out for organizations, reputable organizations that conduct training. If you are a tech founder, you are looking for people to train you, look for reputable organizations like EIC who conduct training, or any other reputable organizations that do that. Please, it's very important you invest in your training. If you're an owner, please invest in the training of your employees. It's very important. It's a very good way to navigate through this uncertain period. Looking at also the global considerations, the global nature of the tech industry is that you also look at international events and market dynamics. We can see how international events are playing a big role. About 2 years ago, early last year, we saw how when the Russia invaded Ukraine, and we saw how the domino effect on that, and how that affected the price of grain in the international market, because we all know that Ukraine is a major exporter of grain in the international market. We also saw that because of the war in Ukraine, we saw that supply chains were disrupted. So that also puts pressure. And we know from grain, you get your different things, you get your flour and different things. So that has also affected the price of various products across the world. Coming to Nigeria, we see the price of some of our staple foods has gone up in the last 2 years. Things like bread, things like cake, it's all the domino effect because of the increase in the price of grain. We also saw with the recent issues they are having in the Middle East, that has also put different pressure on the oil and the oil market. And as different events begin to happen, they have a domino effect. So as a founder or co-founder or business owner, you cannot live in isolation, because these events have a way of impacting directly or indirectly on your business. Because like I tell people, the world is now a global village. It's not like saying, oh, this is happening in some remote part of the world and it's not affecting us. The world, if the dollar coughs, many other currencies would have issues. Because if you notice, most of all the countries in the world have their foreign reserves in dollars. So the dollar also has a way of affecting. So these things have a way of affecting things on the global market. So you need to watch international events, and you also need to watch market dynamics, which is very important. You also need to have your long-term and your short-term strategies, which is very important. You need to balance your long-term strategies and your short-term strategies. I'm putting a tab on my time. You need to also look at what are my long-term strategies? How do my short-term actions, do they align with my long-term goals? Very important. Any action that you are taking, make sure that it aligns with your long-term goals. It is very, very, very important. You cannot live in isolation. All right, very important. You also need to look at risk management. Like I said earlier, make sure you take calculated risk. Don't take risks that are not calculated. Do your due diligence. And for you to have a robust risk management, for you to undertake that would include you identifying the risk. You would also assess the impact of the risk that you are going to take. You might have to simulate it. What could happen if I do A? What could happen if I do B? So when you identify the risk, you assess the impact Then also, you also develop proactive strategies to minimize potential damage. Be proactive, don't be reactive. Be proactive. Like, of course, for those of you who play chess, you have to see like 5-6 moves ahead. Be proactive. Understand what's going to happen in the market. Back what you are doing by data. Let data guide you. Let the analytics, let it guide you. And when you have that, you'll be able to take informed decisions. So, all right. So now, in conclusion, economic uncertainties in the tech industry are bound to happen. We cannot run away from it. Of course, we are currently facing it right now. We see that in the last, since about 2022, for the tech industry, there's been a funding winter whereby investors have slowed down their rate of investing in startups. But like, of course, you know, everything runs in cycles. It's not the time, it's just the time for startups to look at their value proposition. Because if you look at the seasons, of course, in Nigeria, what we have is rainy season and dry season. But let's take the temperate region. You have summer, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So we say we are in a funding winter. Remember, when is winter? Winter doesn't mean, winter is about for like 3-4 months. It will not remain winter forever. These things are seasons. What happens is that when is winter, if you look at plant life, the trees, the roots of the trees, even though the leaves are falling off and you can't see any leaves on the tree, but what is happening is that the roots of those trees are going deeper. So as a founder or a co-founder, take this period, work on what you want to bring to the market. Carry out your R&D. Make sure you are bringing out a solid value proposition to the market. Because from winter, it's going to move to spring. So this funding winter will not last forever. It's going to move to spring, and from spring, it will move to summer. So I want to encourage for as many as on this call that you feel, oh, I have this thing and I've been trying to, and I've been trying to raise VC funds. I've been trying to raise private equity funds or different things and all that. Try and see what you can do this period to see for how long you can bootstrap, and then see what value am I bringing to the marketplace. What am I bringing to the marketplace? Is it am I coming into a blue ocean? Am I coming into a red ocean? If I'm coming into a blue ocean, so that means I have what they call first mover advantage. If I'm coming into a red ocean, that means there are already sharks already in the space. How am I going to innovate? What is my value proposition? What is my competitive advantage? Because that is what is going to separate you. How can I separate myself? Where is the sweet spot that I can come into the market? Where is the avenue? Where is the, even though you have found a gap in the market, but also make sure that there's also a market in the gap. So don't just say, oh, I found a gap in the market, you rush out to market. Make sure that there's also a market in the gap. So economic uncertainties are inevitable. They are bound to happen. They are already happening. And companies can navigate these challenges by staying agile. Very important. Stay agile, stay lean and agile. Don't be bureaucratic. Also, there might be need for you to innovate. It's important, innovate. Of course, that doesn't mean that innovating just means you are trying out different things. Don't get into analysis paralysis. Don't wait for perfection. Consistently innovate. Also be adaptable. There's no point bringing out a product that the market doesn't want. Do your due diligence. Have you brought out your MVP? Test it. What is the response of the market? Carry out some studies among a control group of people. See how it does before you now release the main product. It's very, very important. And I want to encourage you that as founders, as startups, Nigeria, certainly we are going through a lot of uncertain period. Of course, I've listed some of the examples, but that doesn't mean that there are not opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities in the market. These are very challenging times, but they are also exciting times for not just Nigeria, but also the African continent. And I want to say that as a Nigerian, I believe that if Nigeria gets it right, Africa will never be the same again. And I believe that we are going to get it right because we have the potential, we have what it takes to take our rightful place on the continent. So with this I've said, let me say thank you very much, and thank you for going with me through the presentation. Thank you.
It's exciting having you on the call, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me that I think you've done justice to this. The time again, always short as usual. At times I keep asking, should this be an hour or be a bit more than an hour? But I do think that there's always an opportunity for people to continue to learn more as they continue to engage, because there's just no single moment where we can be able to distill all this. And what, again, I said to everybody that was on the platform, what makes Jonathan stand apart is he's not only someone who is into advisory and consulting, therefore drawing insights from the things he sees on a day-to-day. He's also a practitioner, which means he builds ventures. He rolls down his sleeves, he's in the trenches, he feels it there. And I want to say thank you for doing justice to this. It's never been a more trying time for tech entrepreneurs than now. Do remember that our tech ecosystem is just about under 2 decades old, okay?
Exactly.
The few legacy tech companies that came in, CWG's Computer Warehouse Group, Telnet and all that, were quite few and far in between. Nobody understood what they were doing and all that. But the real play around a very vibrant ecosystem is just about over a decade,
Exactly.
10 to 15 years. So it's a very young industry. And that's why the industry has not seen so many ups and downs, has not seen so many uncertainties, has not witnessed so many, turbulent times like this. And therefore, it's important that we provide the comfort and provide the support and handholding that the entrepreneurs and startups, especially having a time like this, knowing the role they bring to the place. They create the economic development, they create the jobs, they power the economy and all that. And I want to say thank you for also lending your voice, lending from your wisdom, from your experience to doing this, because it's not only the people who are across the platform that will add value to the beauty is that people keep streaming it, people will download it in another few months, and then you'll be shocked. However, we'll jump into questions before we go. That I think is important. But as a quick recap, and I wanted to share this with quite a number of audience. I like the fact that you called out a few things I think people should do, and it's the practicality that is always important to me. People should learn to diversify. A lot of industries, like you've said, in a time like this, some will rise, some will fall. Some will not exist anymore. Before COVID, if a lot of ecosystem did not exist. After COVID, a lot are boomed. We've seen the growth of the content guys. We've seen the growth of the guys who are doing social media, some new jobs in social media. Quite a number has happened. The world of virtual space where you do meetings and all that just exploded, and we saw huge adoption of technology-driven platforms.
Exactly. Again,
the beauty of it is diversification in a time like this. Don't be stuck in your ways. Look for alternative way to do things. And you need to be lean and agile. It's because there'll be once we're through with this winter, again, people forecast, in effect, this thing started around 2015 thereabout. Usually people say this cycle takes about a decade. So usually once the downturn comes, it's just hit the startup space because it's every other person in the legacy space have failed it. It just ended up in the startup because for them, especially because their business is not driven by, or the startup business is not driven by the traditional EBITDA, is driven more by the valuation conversation. It's the last bus stop. But I think quite a number of businesses have experienced this turbulence, and since 2015 thereabout, it's been a 10-year going, and we emphasize that things should, for all intents and purposes and for all professionals who in the space, forecast is that we think by Q1 2025, things should begin to look upwards. So which means that we've got about 12 to 18 months of very turbulent times. And so you need to be lean, you need to be agile. You won't wake up in January and things are suddenly fixed. It's going to take a while. I mean, I saw the GDP figures of the US come out at around 5%, 4.9 thereabout. It's always bad news for emerging markets. It means that people are putting more money there. The more they are doing well, the more we suffer. So again, it's a roller coaster that we think we even have. Be lean, be agile. It's not working, I can move. What are the, adjacent places? How can I pivot my business? You just need to be hands-on and be there. He said that. I think it's important, okay, that I emphasize that. And again, he talked about the issue around collaboration. You need to learn to collaborate. You can't run this on your own. If you learn, you can't live long enough to learn from experience. Trust me, there's a Yoruba proverb that if they break the person that they break coconut on his head, you don't stay long enough to eat out of the coconut. Okay, so learn from other people's experiences, collaborate with people, take insights, sit in forums like this, and learn to understand that people who have passed through this, how did they do it? I'll end by saying a keyword I think is also, he said things about bootstrapping. Many startups do not understand the concept of bootstrapping, of keeping things a bit smaller, letting go all those verbose and unneeded expenses. You need to cut down those OPEX. Some of those OPEX that are not income producing, are not value creating. They are nice to have, not need to have. Those things need to go. So again, he gave quite a number, but I just spent a couple of those capacity, a couple of things, and I just wanted to recap for those who joined quite late. Those are key important strategies I think people should go back to. I've been in business for close to 2 decades now, thereabout, or close to 2 decades, sorry. And I think I still find that as you went through them, they reminded me again of what are the golden rules of surviving. Seen a few recessions, a few depressions in about 2 decades of entrepreneurship. And I can tell you clearly that these things you've said are time-tested and proven strategies to survive the downtimes. It's a season, it will rise again. But the beauty of it is, do you have what it takes to a run rate of another 18 months of dryness or of dull market or of a recessed environment? Those are the things you need to consider and begin to plan. And a few of those tips is given are quite instrumental. Let's jump into the questions. I just felt a recap will help quite a number of the people on the platform. And I think that you did brilliant. So somebody said a question here, taking the tech startup, for example, why is it easier for fintechs to raise funds and other sectors can't? And I love this, which is about scaling. Justice Urugun says, these fintech guys, they are raising funds a lot. Why is it easy for them and others can't? Jonathan, do you want to take a go at that?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Good question. Those who asked that question. Well, the fintech is experienced. There's a buzz in the fintech space right now, and that has been going on for a couple of years. Of course, we know that financial technology affects everybody, and we've seen a rise of the fintech giants in recent times. Of course, we all know what happened. I think that was sometime early this year, whereby we had the issue of the cash crunch, and we also saw how a lot of these fintech people came up, OPay, Money Point, and different things. So why there's a focus on fintech is that they are seen as very good alternatives. And if you see many people, there's been a rise in digital adoption, and those who are coming on board are going to these people. So, of course, a lot of investors are taking a look at that, and that the fintech space is buzzing. But that doesn't also mean that the other spaces too are not coming up. We've seen the rise in health tech, in prop tech, in edu tech. We've seen a rise in retail tech. But of course, the fintech is taking the lead as regards it. And of course, for any investor, they are riding the wave of the market at the moment. So that's why it looks like fintechs are getting all the investment. But definitely, as time goes on, it's going to even out, because Nigeria, we have a lot of challenges, and it's not just in fintech, but fintech is the most like obvious challenge that we have in terms of payments, but there are still a lot of other challenges that we have.
Yeah. So if I might add some.
So if you are a founder building in any tech space, not just fintech, yeah, please, Mr. Victor, please go ahead.
Yeah. So another context just to help is that fintechs have attracted a lot of funds. We call it scale up because it's the most regulated industry to a large extent. The truth is, the more regulated you are, the more investors come in, because the rules of the engagement and the rules of the game are clear. The central bank, as an oversight, has created the NIPS, and some of those developments where they've tried to sanitize the environment with NIPS, creating the BVN, is what has created the explosion of the fintechs, which, when you have the rules defined, when I'm sure that for every penny there's transparency there, I can see the growth trajectory. The more the rules of engagement of a sector is defined and there's regulatory oversight, even though we think we don't like it, the more that sector is likely to experience growth. Investors hate uncertainty. If I put my money today in a fintech space, what are the key parameters for the evaluation? Is if they have such a number of people in this ecosystem, this is what the valuation is. If from a regulatory point of view, if I want to do KYC, what is the standard? Just give a BVN and this is it. So it's boomed because there's been quite a lot of regulatory activities that have been active in that place, unlike every sector. Investors like to invest where the regulations and the rules of the game are clear.
True.
It lowers uncertainty, number one. Second thing is, because fintechs are asset light, they can scale across geographies more easily than others.
True.
So their ability to scale and mitigate risk is faster than some other companies where you need to, for example, e-commerce. We've seen some e-commerce companies for 10, 12 years, first mover, everything, they've been slaughtered. Reason? Yes. They are asset heavy. Dispatch, logistic things, you're worried about pilfering, you're worried about holding inventory. Once you are not asset light, scaling to other geographies, scaling across becomes, today, fintech, you have it deployed across. Somebody seated in Lagos, you can access it in Sokoto, download the app, do a lot. If you need to do e-commerce, for example, you are looking for where the stock is in Port Harcourt. How do I ship it to me in Sokoto? Will somebody have a warehouse? So in all the other locations, first is the rule. Second is the ability to transverse geographical spread with little or minimal hindrances helps drive valuation, helps mitigate risk of scaling, and investors love that. So much more, added to the things that Jonathan has said around the fintechs and all that, it's a big space. I think the more other sectors, e-commerce, health tech, edutech, begin to have regulators who understand the rule of the game and who define the standards, what needs to happen, create the collaboration and all that, you will see investors come in more. Investors don't want to come in and then they are listening to just you. They want to do due diligence and go to central bank and know the rules, know the power of the BVN, know what NIPS mean, knows what. They want to understand everything without even talking to you.
Exactly.
If they cannot find it, if they don't know, insurance tech, for example, should be booming.
Exactly.
But have you asked yourself the role being played by NICOM to ensure that there's a level playing ground, defining how they speak, how they interact, what settlement, all those rules of engagement. It doesn't happen in the insurtech today. So because they are not doing that, insurtech is not rising. It's the same for health tech. If the rules, you do something today and government comes and outlaws it because it is not, and many of you were part of, or you were around when there was a go-karder and all that.
Yeah.
But again, because the oversight function, the rules of engagement was not clear, one day a legislation came and that industry died.
That's true.
Investors have learned and burned their fingers and are scared. So they want to go to a place where the regulator is seated with the ecosystem people to curate the industry. That's the only place they want to put their money.
True.
I hope that helps you a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to Justice Orogun.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll throw to you, Jonathan, is talking about risk. How do we know the necessary risk to take during economic uncertainty period? I know you said this, but you can just quickly share one or two words again. How? And I'll match the two. How do I manage risk in uncertainty? How do I manage them? And this wala of this currency fluctuation, exchange rate, how will it impact the financial performance of tech companies operating on a global scale? And how can startup mitigate this? So this also is about mitigation. First is currency, global scale. I operate globally. There's currency fluctuation. How does it affect me as a startup playing the global scale? Secondly, this risk management you are talking about with uncertainty, how do I manage it in a period like this? I think those are two questions from across developer platforms that we should talk about.
Okay, great. So risk management, I let me just quickly touch on that. Like I said in the presentation, is that you take, I will say that take calculated risk. Back whatever you are doing by data and analytics. Of course, like I said, data is the new oil. It's very important that whatever you are going to do, let it be backed by data. Don't take blind risk. Take informed decisions before you take any risk. Make sure that you have a risk management procedure in place for any business that you are going into. Any issue that comes up, make sure you understand it. And also talking about the currency, I mean, I believe that's what the person asked about. If you're operating abroad. Now, I will say, whatever you are doing, let's say it like this. For startups dealing in Nigeria, you are dealing what you call a Naira-based economy. So a Naira-based economy, of course, your goods and services, of course, there's also a domino effect of the price of the dollar. But that also shows that try and see how you can reduce your costs. If possible, reduce your costs and also increase your value. Now, I have a very like a contrarian view to this. Now, when in times like this, challenging times, the currency is going down. Of course, we have a dollar issue. Many people tend to reduce value. You see it across board. Many companies, different people want to reduce value. They want, but I'll tell you that rather you take the opposite direction. See how you can increase your value, or whether it's a product or service, because it is said, when everybody is going left, go right. Don't follow herd mentality. It's very, very important. See how you can increase your value. See how also you can ramp up on your effort. There's a book I'm currently reading. It's called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I think you all should go and have a look at it. It's called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. It's very important. Value should not go down. So fine, we have a currency issue. And for startups also who are also selling abroad, that's fine. It doesn't affect you if maybe you are you have your presence in other countries and all that should not be affected, because if they are paying you in, like, let's say in dollars or in euro, fine, it's good for you to still keep that one running and see how also you can increase the value that you are putting in. But please focus on value. I think let me just stop there. Let me not.
Thank you, because he knows, I mean, we need to have a hard stop. And I will end by saying, when you diversify your business, if you can, diversify your revenue base. If you can earn in currency outside of what currency you have in, it increases the chances of investors valuing your business well and putting some funds around it. Because again, you cannot continue to run 10 steps forward, one step forward and 10 steps backward, because you are doing the right thing, you are growing, but again, the macroeconomy of where you play also diminishes the value you create, okay? But again, we can always take this off the platform and go into the Techbiz Nation, which is our Telegram page and our WhatsApp page, where we can take this forward. And we have quite a number of facilitators there. Ask your questions, we will respond to you. My colleagues have dropped the link in the chat room. Just be a part of it. And if you want, in case you joined us quite late and you want to just go over again and listen to what this session was about, all you have to do is go to our website, www.ecoicenter.com/webinar, and you will see the 102 episodes of Techbiz that have already been uploaded, and then you'll find this one will be uploaded before 12 noon tomorrow. And I do hope that you do have a great experience listening to it, and that it enlightens you and provides some level of support and guidance as we navigate this turbulent landscape, and we continue to discuss the business of technology, which is what Techbiz is about in here. I want to say a big thank you for everyone. I have a commitment to always have a hard stop at the hour, a matter of respect for our time, to say thank you for keeping a date with us again on Techbiz Studio. Of course, an exceptional thank you to our special guest for today, Mr. Jonas Okola, who did a fantastic job. He didn't have enough time. 35-40 minutes will never be enough to do this. But again, despite all that, he tried to skim around it, drop a few hints here and there, just for our people who are in the tech business ecosystem to have a bit more insight and learn how they can be able to do better at what they do and be able to survive this turbulent and uncertain time and be able to scale their businesses. Thank you very much. And I want to use this as we end up to be a personal invitation to you. Eco Innovation Center, a foremost incubator and accelerator center in Lagos here, is the curator of the largest tech gathering in Nigeria, Art of Technology Lagos. And we are the 5th edition of Art of Technology Lagos this year. We started from 2019, and this promises to be exceptional, where we're talking about the creative economy and the connected Lagos. Again, diversification. As we move away from fintech to other sectors, we're looking at the creative economy where you have advertising, you have people working around AI, in art, in content, production, and we're bringing subject matter experts because we're looking at things around intellectual property. How do I scale talent? You want to run a streaming platform, you want to run a talent. How exactly can you be able to learn from this gathering, where we're going to bring global experts to come and discuss about the creative economy and the connected Lagos? How can you benefit from it? So I want to personally invite you. December 6th and 7th is where we will be having AOT this year. It's a landmark. Do go onto our website and do register, sign up to be a part of it this year. And my colleagues have dropped the link for you to register to attend Art of Technology Lagos. And I do hope that you have a very enlightening session as you come together with us, as we chat ways and discuss with policymakers, with ecosystem players about the agendas that can move this ecosystem forward. If we get the ecosystem right and entrepreneurs begin to really create businesses that have impact, we begin to solve our problems as a people and not wait for any government anywhere or any other person anywhere to come solve our issues. And that's my personal invitation to you this evening. I want to say a big thank you for keeping the date. I remain your host, the founder of Eco Innovation Center. My name is Victor Gwingafolabi, and I want to say thank you for keeping the date with us. See you again on the last Thursday of November, when we'll bring you another episode of Techbiz, and we're having an exceptional thought leader on the platform to share with you insights into the business of technology. Thank you, and you have a great weekend ahead. All the best, everyone.